In this video, we want to talk about how to manage money using the 50-30-20 rule. 50-30-20 rule. And what's this 50-30-20 rule? 50 goes in for your needs, 30 goes in for your wants, and 20 goes in for your savings. And I'll quickly break it down so that we can understand, which means 50% goes in for your needs. That's after tax, after you have paid your tax. The remaining, we are talking about net income now. So you will now divide it into 3 portions, which is 50% for your needs, 30% for your wants, 20% for your savings. And what are the needs? What are our needs? Needs are basic requirements, they are necessities, they are essentials, they are things you cannot do without. You can't do without them. So, for instance, what are the examples of our needs? Food, clothing, housing, healthcare, and transportation. Those are the basic requirements for survival. Basic requirements for survival. You need food, you need clothing, you need housing, you need healthcare, and you need transportation. So those are our basic needs. And the second segment, which is 30%, which goes for our wants. What are wants? Wants are things we can do without. They are desires. They are things that improve the quality of life. So it means you can survive without them. We can live without them. You can conveniently live without them. But the truth is, they may give us minor inconveniences depending on the personality that is involved. So one major thing you need to know about wants is human wants are unlimited. Economics made us to understand that human wants are unlimited. You cannot satisfy human wants. The moment you get this, you want to get another one. And one thing about wants is it differs from one person to the other. What is wants to me may not be wants to another person. And another thing about wants is it shifts over time. It changes over time. It is not something that is constant. Unlike needs that are constant, we all have the same need, which is food, clothing, shelter, housing, transportation, and health care. And the last 20% goes for savings. It is important that you save. And this is where many people get it wrong. They just believe that, what do I need to save for? I need to save this. You need to know how to save for two things, which is number one, you save for emergencies, and you saving for investments. That's why this is 20%. So 10% goes into emergencies, 10% goes into investments. Do you understand? And one thing about emergencies, this is not supposed to be for life. This is only for you to have 6 months. The moment you have 6 months of your minimum living expenses, let me just put it that way, living expenses, then you are good to go. 6 month living expenses. So the moment you have that means this 10% can now come to this, and make your savings for investments 20%. Because the goal of this is not to leave the money in the bank. Do you understand? It's so that you can send money on an errand in order for return. There is a difference between savings and investment. I have defined it in our previous video that savings is setting money aside for a purpose. So those purposes are what? For emergencies and for investment. While investment is sending money on an errand for a return. Do you understand? So when you save, the purpose is number one for emergencies, which means to have 6 months living expenses, daily living expenses with you, so that in case of any occurrences, nobody prays for any bad occurrence, maybe layoff, maybe business is bad. Just imagine what happened during COVID. Do you understand? So that's the reason why you have at least 6 months living expenses in your savings account. So after that, you cannot transfer that 10% into your savings for investment, and you look for a good investment vehicle that you invest in and give you good returns. Just make sure that it is an investment that hedges against inflation. Do you understand? So please take note of that. And I need to say this. What really prevents us from attaining financial freedom is our wants. This aspect, this cycle, this aspect, which is the 30%. As much as you can. Okay, I need to say, what are the examples of wants? For instance, your Netflix subscription, it is something you can do without. Netflix subscription, it's something you can do without. Data subscription, you may say, but I need data. But the truth is, are you using it for business? Is it bringing in money for you? So if you don't browse, if you don't go on social media, are you going to die? Do you need it for survival? So those are the questions you need to ask yourself. So airtime, for instance, is it for business? The moment it's not for business or it's not going to generate anything for you, then you know that it's a want. You can do without them. Your phone can be there. It's not a must that you call. Cable subscription, GoTV, DSTV, all these ones, all these are wants. And designers as well. The moment you want to buy Gucci, you want to buy Louis Vuitton, those are wants. They are desires. You want to improve the quality of your life. They are no longer survival. It's the other level. It's the next level. Relaxation, your hobbies, for instance, those are wants. Those are things you can do without. So what really stops us, what really prevents us from reaching financial freedom is this aspect of want. So if possible, if you can try as much as possible, try and reduce this and put it in your savings. Savings for investments. Savings for investment. So the goal is to try and minimize your wants until you attain financial freedom, so that your assets, what you have invested in, can begin to pay for your bills. We call it passive income. The moment your passive income can now begin to pay for your bills, then you are financially free. So that is the goal. It is not to live frugally forever, but until you achieve financial freedom. That is your goal, to achieve financial freedom, so that your passive income pays for your living expenses. And in a subsequent video, I'll be divining to us and be talking about various levels of financial freedom. So if you are yet to subscribe to this channel, kindly click on the subscribe button and subscribe to this channel, and click on the notification bell so that you can be notified whenever we release contents like that, especially like that. So let's move on. So you need to know that what really prevents us from reaching financial freedom is our wants. So people want to keep up with the Joneses. They want to prove their worth. They want to prove to their neighbors. They want to prove to their colleagues at work. You don't need to prove to anybody, because many people have their own challenges. So your goal is to attain financial freedom, where you no longer work for money. You are working for enjoyment. You are working because you like what you are doing, not necessarily because of money. You need to learn delayed gratification, and that's what we are talking about here. That it is not to live frugally for the rest of your life, but for a particular point in time, until you build your savings, until you build your investment portfolio, that's what the income coming from your investment portfolio can conveniently pay for your living expenses, whereby you don't need to worry yourself about money. Even though you are working, but it is no longer because of money. You are working because you enjoy what you are doing, and you also have freedom. So I think with this, I've been able to enlighten us on how to manage our money with the 50-30-20% rule. And I need to say this before I end this video, which means the simple litmus test to differentiate between your needs and your wants is, can I survive without this thing? That is just the simple litmus test to be sure which category does this expense belong. Can I survive without it? You can survive without Netflix subscription. You can survive without airtime. You can survive without brands, without designers, without Gucci, without Louis Vuitton. Do you understand? So that is just the simple litmus test. If you really want to achieve financial freedom, I need to tell you that you need to know the difference and also work on it, so that you can minimize your wants and put it more in your investment portfolio. If this video has helped you, kindly click on the like button, and until we meet in our next video, stay blessed.